Okay, so right now what I would like to discuss is how to polish up the scene so that it looks a bit more nicer when it comes to submission. So right now, the only item you're only required to do a high quality playblast. I mean, you can do a full render of your final project if you desire, but at this point it's at your own risk if you decide to like the scene to in more detail to your heart's content. So right now, what you should do right now is I would, disable the wireframes and okay, so right now I put a basic point light. I should probably add another light source. Let's do that. So I'm gonna go to the outliner. Let's take the point light. I'm going to let's move this. Let's make this more like a fill light. So I'm going to do this a no decay. My God, that is bright. Wow, this light source is huh. Huh, it's very rough at the moment. Let's add these. Okay, I'm just adding a couple more light sources, and then I'm going to disable the shadows. So I only have light sources from one particular light source in particular. Okay, it's a bit bright, so let's take the other two light sources. And that looks good enough. That looks good for the purpose of this demonstration. That's good enough. Okay, so what I will do next is okay. So first of all, what I would like to redirect your attention to is if we go to Renderer and go to Viewport 2.0 and click on the box to the right, it will give you more settings to, let's say, polish up the scene and make the scene a bit more nicer. So what I want to turn up is several items that I would take your attention to. One, anti-aliasing. What anti-aliasing will allow you to do is, if you click on smooth wireframe and increase the sample count, it will look the jagged edges look less jagged on the scene. Next up, let's go to screen space ambient occlusion. I'm going to enable it by enabling screen space ambient occlusion. You can see how the corners have a bit more shading, and I can fine-tune it slightly. You kind of just play around until you find an amount that looks good. So, it just adds a bit more of a passive shadows to where the corner and the edges of the scene are. I don't need this tool setting, so let's move this out. So right now the scene looks okay. My computer is really chugging because my laptop's not built for this. So okay, it looks sufficient enough. And then okay, and if all this is chugging way too hard on your PC, then you probably might need to disable all of these when you are animating the scene, and then re-enable the special features once you are animating the scene. And then what you probably might do for this project is you may want to create a custom camera. So, because you might want to, have specific camera shots in mind. What I personally recommend using is the camera and aim, which allows you to position the camera and where the camera is looking at in the scene. And let's rename the camera as, I'll call this Room Cam Group. Room Cam. Room Cam Aim. Okay, good. And if you want to preview how the camera looks like, we can, we can go ahead and change one of these orthographic views to the room camera that we have just made, and let's move the camera out something like it will look something like this. Okay, so then as for resolution settings, in order to change that, what I'll do is there will be a display rendering settings button. We'll click on that. And I'll change the resolution to go to image size, and I'll change the resolution to, I'll choose 1080p because 1080p seems to be the standard these days for higher quality animation resolution. And then there's something called resolution gate, which is this icon right here. And what resolution gate means, if you render out your scene or Playblast your scene, it'll only show what is within the white square. So this might help for scene alignment reasons. So let's, whoops, my computer is chugging. Okay, so let's I think about that looks good. All right, let's play the animation. Okay, sure. Let's keep it at that angle. Okay, so I'll turn off resolution gate, which is, or I turn out resolution gate. Okay, so last step in order to do this. Okay, so I'm going to enable in all the special effects again, and now I'm starting to realize I think this point light is way too bright, so I'm going to turn it down slightly a little bit to like 50-ish or something like that. And I could probably add some more light sources around to light the dark side, but that's more fine-tuning at this point. I'll go to show, and then what you'll do is you'll disable anything that you don't. Assume that what you're seeing in the camera right now is going to be how the final scene is going to look. So I'm going to just disable everything and enable just including none of the controls. I'm going to remove all the manipulators and highlighting, and I'm going to enable, I believe the scene has just polygons and a NURB surface. All right, that looks about good. Now if we were to play the scene, you notice you see just the objects. That looks about good. Final stage, you go to Windows, Playblast. This is where you're going to do the actual rendering stage. So I'll go to Square. So right now there's two options for time slider. So right now I have time. You can either render just from what your time slider is default to, or you can fine tune it from start to end, which is frame 1 to frame 56. Of course, this will allow you to give you a bit more control, as for example, maybe you have multiple cameras in your scene and you want to render just frame 1 to frame 20 for camera 1, and then frame 20 to frame 40 for camera 2. Format is AVI, quality is 100%, scale, let's do 100, display size, we'll do render settings because we set it to 1080p. Remove temporary files, you want to uncheck this, and then you want to hit save, you want to check the save to file, and then you want to make sure that, let's call this room animation. And then when you are done, hit Playblast. And well then, depending on your CPU speed, this should take a lot. It's taking a long time on my computer because my computer's not graphically powerful for this, but you know, it's slowly chugging and it's making the preview. Okay, this is actually pretty slow. Hey, you can at least see the squash and stretch and squash in slow motion like this. Are there any questions up to this point? Oh, in order to show shadows, there is a dedicated shadows setting that let me show you. That next one right there. There you go. One downside is, despite one thing you'll notice with high quality Playblast is it does not give you much controls over shadows. Like, I know that it generally looks nicer to have soft shadows, but at least up to my knowledge, there's not really a way that you could really do that in a Playblast. So that is one downside of a high quality Playblast. Yes. I mean, because to avoid render issue. Well, it's mostly because we noticed that yeah, my computer really can't play all this at once. But yeah, you can see how my video is playing in slow motion. But yes, a question I have here is why not do a render instead of a Playblast? Well, you can do a render, absolutely. In fact, if your scene actually looks good while rendered and you're able to render it in time for a final project, by all means, go ahead, actually. It'll actually look nicer. It's just that rendering usually ends up being extra work, or in some cases, completely correcting their projects or crashing their projects in more ways than one, and it's just more like a requirement that we no longer, it's something that we no longer require for its assignment, but it's just that it looks more polished and nice if you actually do render it out. But if you do a high quality Playblast though, we will not dock you on points in terms of presentation if the Playblast looks sufficiently enough. So, any other questions? Yes.
Will this be like linked to our platform?
Yeah. You mean all the lecture videos that
Yeah,
I
they're
talked
like
about? Yes, they will be on a YouTube playlist, which they should be on the 341 website. There should be a section called 341 Tutorials for Fall 2019. And all recordings I did during lab will be uploaded and put on that playlist, including, so for today, the videos for the ball bounce and what I did for the Playblast settings will be uploaded to that playlist. All right. Yes. Okay. I'm gonna try to get it up by this weekend. Yes.
So recommended or required a resolution, or should we do the like 600 by 400?
She told us it has to be. It's 1080p.
Okay. So she wants 1080p.
There's a drop down from default. It's 1080p.
Yeah. Okay. So use the 1080p settings then. Yes. What you would have to do if you want multiple camera angles is, from what I'm aware, what you would have to do actually is you would have to render each camera separately, and then once you had the 3 different Playblast, assemble it using a video editor like Premiere and assemble the clips together as if you were changing scenes. That's what I would do. Right. Well, the rest of the time is for you all to work.